6 Premier League teams qualified for the Champions League in 2026. In the video today, we'll be ranking them in a tier list to see which sides I think are going to do well in the competition this year. Let's go. So the mission for today is to complete this tier list, go through each Premier League team and what I think they need to do to maybe improve their squad for the Champions League, and last but not least, I'm going to give you guys a prediction as to who I think is going to win the Champions League in 2026. Of course, in the comments down below, let me know which Premier League team do you think is going to be the best, I guess, in the Champions League in 2026, and also who do you think is going to win the Champions League? It might be the same club, who knows? Anyway, we're going to get on with the video for today. So you can see these are the 6 clubs that are in the Champions League this year, and I thought it's probably best to start off with the 3 that are new to the competition this year. So we're going to start things off with Tottenham Hotspur, who of course qualified by beating Manchester United in the Europa League final. With that being said, they have already made some moves in the transfer market, and in my opinion, they have made one of the biggest already, and that is the signing of Mr. Thomas Frank. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, my favourite manager in the Premier League. So I am praying that he does well at Tottenham, because the last thing I want is for him to go there, people think he's a bad manager, he gets some bad rep, maybe loses his job, and then he's out of the Premier League. That would be horrible. I hope he does well, because I think he's a fantastic manager. With that being said, we look at the squad that Spurs have got. I will quickly just double check. They have not really signed anyone yet, other than Danso, who of course I'm pretty sure was in last season, and Matthias Tell, who of course was on loan. They've just signed them now, so both of them, of course, loanies, and they've just been signed. So looking at the squad then, Tottenham, where am I going to put them in the tier list? Now, Vicario, I think, is... So in terms of the tier list, you can see here we have S tier, and then DB in the last. Of course, that means that there's only 5 tiers here, so it means that one team is going to be... Well, I'm going to put them in order, and 2 teams are going to be in D. I think that's what I'm going to do. So, Tottenham, they got Vicario. To me, he's like a great goalkeeper, probably like, you know, A-B tier. Porro's a great right back. Danso's fantastic. Luca, you know, Westerlo, young centre back, could be pretty good. Archie Gray, developing talent. Van der Ven, Udogie. Where would you guys put Spurs? I think I can't put them too high, because they are a new side in the Champions League, and I feel like Richarlison's probably on the way out. Scarlett's not really developed that well for them. Son he's probably going to be rotated out a bit this season. I think that Kulusevski's got to stay fit for them. I think Tottenham, for me, compared to the other Premier League teams, I don't think this is a crazy shout. I think that they are going to go into D tier for me. For now, obviously I can change this. However, I think that they... What do I suggest if you're... Maybe if you're... Say Thomas Frank is watching this video. Hello, Thomas. What would I do if I was you? I think massively improve in the first team, which inherently will improve your backups. So, for example, signing a better... Well, they obviously were going in for Mbeumo. Example, if they got Mbeumo, then Brennan Johnson would be a great backup. So, yeah, I think Tell's decent, to be fair. Good signing. Solanke's going to be great. So, yeah, maybe a new right winger, maybe another player to improve the midfield, and then... inherently, by doing that, you improve your backup squad as well. So, yeah, Tottenham, I think I wouldn't be too worried. I think I'm only putting them there because, as of recording, they haven't made too many signings yet. Only 2 have come through, and they were already players that were in the squad last year. So, yeah, for me, Tottenham, they're going to go into the bottom category. However, yeah, like I said, Thomas Frank is the only reason that would make me think maybe C. But of course, two teams have to be in the D tier. That's just the way I'm doing it. So they're going to be one of them for me. Moving on next to Newcastle. Of course, they're the team that I follow very fondly. So I don't support them. However, they are the team that when it comes to like Premier League and Champions League, they're the team that I enjoy watching the most. That's just because my team can only dream of getting in the Championship, let alone Champions League football. So yeah, I would say lots of signings rumored to come to Newcastle. I think the two that are pretty much nailed is Alanga and Trafford. Of course, they haven't signed. Time of recording, we have Newcastle have signed, sorry, Antonio Cordero, who's a young player from Spain, I believe, and yet to make any signings. So hard for me to sit here and say they're going to do. Oh my God, they're going to do insane. But a Champions League night at the St James's Park is going to be electric. Isak's, he's probably the best. Oh, I mean, is that crazy to say? I think he's definitely easily top five strikers in the world right now. And I think if you've got, and as on top of that, the fullbacks, Livramento, Lewis Hall, just overlapping. Gordon's been a little bit lackluster, but especially if they bring in a player like Alanga, then wings are just going to be fierce. And of course, that midfield, we know what that midfield is capable of. So I think Newcastle just need to make sure that they do actually get the signings over the line, and they haven't done that yet. So time of recording, I'm gonna have to take that into account. However, I will say one of the best coaches again in the league. So again, I can change. I'm going to put them in because I can change it, and it's my opinion. I'm going to put them in B for now, and I'll come back to this. Maybe I'll change that. I'm thinking BC. Like, maybe when I thought about it a bit more, maybe they might be in C, but we'll see. Moving on next to Chelsea, just an absolute just overhaul opposite to Newcastle. Just spending. They don't even care. They're just spending. They got Jamie Gittins already. Kendry Pays, who's unbelievable. I really hope he gets a loan because he's not going to get the game time he deserves at Chelsea. So hopefully he gets a loan. João Pedro, a great signing that they robbed from. I say robbed for 63 mil. I mean, I don't think Newcastle will pay that. So I thought 63 mil is a bit. I mean, Pedro is a great player. Don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit expensive. Gittins is good though, so yeah, fair play. They're making the signs. The lap, of course, is I think that's good. That's meant to be their guy. So hopefully he does well for us. Mamadou Sarr as well, great one. Asalgo's fantastic. So yeah, of course they're making the signings. However, I just maybe it's just my bias. It's probably my bias kicking in, but I think their team is great. They got loads of players, but just thinking of like in my head, that many people like they literally the cohesion of that team must be like just awful. The amount of like contrast in like um personalities and characteristics in the changing room just must be mental. Unless they literally have an entirely new dressing room for each. This is our Champions League squad. This is our Premier League squad. They train separately. I mean, they pretty much can do that at this point. So, I'm gonna have to put them in D tier. Not worse than Spurs though. Chelsea will do better than Spurs in my opinion. Which leaves us with the three teams that did have Champions League football last year. So they're not new teams. And we'll start things off with Man City, who I think their squad is kind of opposite to Chelsea in the sense of like they've done it all. They've won the lot. Maybe they just need a couple of like what's the right word? Players that will inspire them to do it again, pretty much. And they are looking to do that with players like Teji Reinders, fantastic DM. Rayan Cherki, we all know about him. Ain't Nuri, great left back. I mean, I'm not going to say Champions League level because he's never played Champions League football, to my knowledge, unless he did in the team that he played for in France. But yeah, I don't really think Ain't Nuri is a fantastic left back going forward. Defensively is a little bit suspect though, so we'll see. And yeah, in terms of their actual squad, of course, Haaland, Gvardiol's fantastic. They've got a great squad. And Pep is one of the best managers in the league, of course. So I am actually going to put, oh, maybe controversial. We might have to do some shuffling here already. They're surely got to do better than Newcastle. I think Man City are, they are a bit better than Newcastle. Let's be realistic here. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Man City above Newcastle for now. Of course, we might have to change things up here, but yeah, moving things on to Liverpool. Yeah, just what more do you need to say? Great squad, and they have already made some great signings in Milos Kerkez. Again, I don't like, this is one of them that's similar to Aït-Nouri. I'm going to be interested to see how well he does in an actual Champions League environment. Um, but yeah, he's obviously a great defender, and hopefully he can step up. But we have to take into account he hasn't done it before, so we'll see. We'll see with Kirkes. I hope he does do well. And Florian Wirtz. I mean, that's just a, yeah, unbelievable signing. Frimpong, I don't actually rate Frimpong, again, defensively. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Mamardashvili as well is a great signing from last season. So yeah, I think we'll see. I don't think Frimpong is that good. However, I know, yeah, I might get slated for that in the comments. I know loads of people do rate him. So maybe that's maybe why in my head I'm thinking like, oh, maybe they still need a couple more pieces in the squad. They need that proper like number nine. You know, I mean, they're similar to Arsenal, who we'll get onto next. They just need that striker. I feel like. Yeah, Gakpo loves playing out on that left. So yeah, and of course, yeah, I mean Liverpool are a great team. It just feels like they're one signing away from being like, because you know how like back it, or a couple of years ago we were thinking, oh, City, just how do you improve that squad? Real Madrid, how do you improve that squad? I feel like Liverpool still have a couple of steps to take to get to that stage, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I do think now Liverpool and City to me, I think are going to be top two. Or maybe Arsenal as well. We haven't really spoke about them, but I think. Oh, this is going to be a tough one, isn't it? Now, of course, let me know in the comments down below what you guys would do, but I think. Weirdly, I actually think City are going to do a better job than Liverpool, which might be quite controversial. And of course, recency bias would tell you Liverpool will outperform City. But yeah, in the Champions League, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with something a little bit weird, a little bit different. I'm going to put City to do better than Liverpool in the Champions League 2026. And then moving on to the final team in the Premier League, and that is Arsenal. And again, same story. Great squad, terrible striker. They have signed Kepa as a good backup, and that is it as of recording. Great squad, really. Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, fantastic. Rice, probably one of the best in his positions. Nwaneri's a great young talent. I think a good squad. Don't get me wrong. I think, and Arsenal, don't get me wrong, of course, beat Real Madrid last season. And yeah, I think Arsenal are good. Don't get me wrong, but again, maybe a controversial one here. I don't think they're going to do as well this year, and I think they're going to get a bit of a shock to the system, I think, this year. And that is a highly controversial take, and I know people are going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe you've done that in the comments. But we will come back to this in a year, and we will see who is right or wrong, because I controversially think Newcastle will do better than Arsenal in the Champions League 2026, and I also believe City will do better than Liverpool. Let me know in the comments down below how you would rank your tier list for the Premier League teams. This is what I'm going to go with, and you know what? Oh, I'm not going to do it, but I'm in my head. I'm slightly thinking Arsenal, Chelsea could even. Hey, I'm going to leave it like that for now, though. And the final thing I wanted to round off the video today is, who do I think is going to win the Champions League in 2026? Now, I will say, Obviously, Arsenal have got a great squad. Atleti have a good squad. Inter, I don't think they're going to have as good of a season, but still a great team. PSG, I mean, they just won it. So yeah, Real Madrid, unbelievable players. Liverpool, City, all up there. But for me, the winner of the Champions League 2026 is going to be Barcelona. Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to win the Champions League in 2026? So there you have it, guys. There is the Premier League teams and how I think they're going to do in the Champions League in the next season. Of course, let me know in the comments down below what would be your tier list, who do you think is going to win, and if you guys have enjoyed the video, please do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. We'll catch you guys in a future video. Peace.